everybody, welcome to G4G here on YouTube. Today we are going to do the first part in a video series that is going to be the top 5 all-time PvP heroes by class. Now, since this is the first of the videos, let me do a little bit of explanation here, and then I'm probably not going to do that for the rest of the classes. So somewhat recently I did the top all-time most impactful gear, and then I went and did the top most impactful heroes. Now for the most impactful gear and hero set, these took into account both PvP and PvE. Basically they were broad strokes to define just top heroes since the game has began. This series is going to deal specifically with heroes in PvP by their predominant class. Now, if somebody was extremely popular in both classes or more than one class, you're going to see them in multiple videos. However, if they are a dual class person, we are going to go with the ISOs that they wear. So for example, Fandral is an infiltrator and a tactician. However, since he wears infiltrator ISOs, he will be considered an infiltrator for all purposes in those videos. So let's go ahead and take a look at tacticians. Now, tacticians have always remained fairly strong in PvP. They've never been too much in the weakness category. They've always been rather in the strong category. So whereas Scrappers definitely enjoyed a very positive time of being anti-infiltrator, and Bruisers are pretty strong, Tacticians are also pretty strong right now and have always been strong. So strong in that they are the only class whose class benefit cannot be activated in the first turn. However, if you are running a multi-class hero, such as Fixer, then you can cheese that and get it anyway. Also, today's background soundtrack is brought to you by the Overwatch OST. So let's go ahead and jump into the tacticians. The first honorable mention will go to the Black Knight. Now, he is an honorable mention because he's never been that strong in PvP other than the brief period in which he was bugged. During his bug phase, he was used quite extensively on defense because he was rather invincible during the first few turns of combat. We have more honorable mentions coming up, but we'll get to them. So, the first all-time top 5 PvP tactician is Iron Patriot. More commonly showing up in his tactician class than his blaster class, Pesty, or the Iron Patriot variant of War Machine, was definitely one of the top all 5 tacticians. He was extremely strong in PvE for wave clear, but was also very, very good back in the day for massive early turn PvP killing. Heroic Age Iron Fist is part of the reason why Pesty got knocked down and basically got knocked out of the PvP meta, because 21 gun salute was considered a follow-up, so Pesty was often popping him. Now that Pepsi's been knocked down a few pegs, there's nothing to stop Iron Patriot from coming back other than the fact that he has issues with radiation and the worthy. The fact that radiation is tagged to the ability type means he's not going to be able to hit Kurth, and that is somebody you always have to take into account when you are PvPing lately. Up next is Pesty in his tactician form. So early on, his infiltrator form was not rated too highly. The reason being is that we didn't have level 15 bonuses at the time, and Pesty's level 1 was already stealthy. So you could have him hit who you wanted him to hit. And, you know, you didn't have to deal with infiltrators too much because Pesty could walk around the infiltrator. And, yeah, he'd activate combat reflexes, but that infiltrator would not get up in Pesty's face for that attack. So, based on Tactician's very strong ability against blasters, Tactician Pesty was extremely strong when he was first released and continued to remain on top until the covert ISO breathed some life into the Infiltrator version of Pesty. So historically, Tactician Pesty has been the predominantly chosen one of the two, but the Infiltrator one has definitely made massive headway recently. So the next honorable mention that we are going to throw out there is going to be Doom. Now you might say, well, actually, Napalm, I think Doom deserves to be more than an honorable mention. In the grand scheme of things, and as you watch the video play out, you'll understand why he's an honorable mention. He doesn't really belong in the top 5 because his sustain has completely fallen out. Magic Warding hurt him, and of course, the Mystic Shroud, and then later the Warding Essence. Dr. Doom is coming back a little bit because Magic Warding has taken a major hit, and he could be spreading that annoying Doom. Doom this around with that Cower, which basically acts kind of like Kurth. The thing is, Dr. Doom right now doesn't have more hit points than the Agent. So you're bringing an Agent and Dr. Doom, and they have about the same amount of hit points. So that throws the balance off. You're no longer really gaining the benefit of only having 2 people in there. Yes, he is guaranteed 2 extra turns, but then again, Tacticians can do that pretty much anyways. Doom kind of needs a rework, but he can be good again, he's just not. So moving on back to the top 5, we have Magneto. Magneto has had a lot of sustain in PvP over the years and can still be used quite effectively today. Him throwing that gigantic heavy metal engine at people, especially if they're magnetized, has been considered one of the most vicious one-shot attacks of all time. Sure, you have Havoc and everything with the wind-up, but Magneto did massive, massive damage, especially when he threw that heavy metal. If you saw that thing coming, you just basically prepared thine anus and hoped that the stun actually didn't work. But it was still a huge hit that was capable of taking down most heroes. Add to the fact that you have the magnetic field, which now can become a quick action thanks to snappy service, or doesn't consume a turn during his tactician bonuses. Magneto is still in a strong spot. He even has a very, very good ISO now that has a chance of applying morale boost and combat awareness to allies that are attacked. He also has a pretty solid personal ISO, his early one, in Superconductor that replaces Magnetize with Polarize, which can't be removed or prevented, aka the Mystic. Magneto has always been extremely top hero in PvP and one of the most dangerous tacticians of all time. Coming up next, we have Rescue. Now you may say, okay, wait a minute. If Doom didn't have sustain, how are you going to say Rescue did? Rescue created more outcry when she first came out and had longer sustain overall than Doom. Rescue is again capable of being decent with some of the Protect related ISOs. She also got a lot better when she got the level 15 bonus and snappy service. She's really an obnoxious non-bruiser tank. When you get her personal ISO, status reset totally wipes the board. Plus she has Protector Protocol, Reconstruction Matrix, and the not very damaging flyby attack, but one that still gets up there under right conditions. Flyby attack is energy based, so things like the rectifier and any energy working devices really work well with it. Plus she shuts down her counterclass in off balance, and anybody who can shut down the class opposite them on the spectrum always is really, really good. Hawk Rescue is just not seen that much anymore, but she definitely sustained for a long time and too many people just could not deal with Rescue at all. Shieldbreaker wasn't that common, and it really set up Rescue to be one of the most annoying defensive tanks of all time, and probably considered the #1 late-day stall hero of all time. You know he was going to be up there. Red Hulk. He is the last one on our tactician list. Red Hulk is one of the few tacticians on the list that has never enjoyed a dull moment in being on the list. He's been top 5 and has never really fallen out. He gets spikes when attrition hero shows up, and he definitely got an enormous spike when Pesty showed up, because his Gamma Bomb is perfect for Pesty. It does so much, including exhaustion and incapacitation, that it's just a phenomenal ability that sets up Red Hulk to be in the power spots and have never really dropped. Now, unfortunately, he also suffers against Kurth now in the fact that radiation is tagged to the Gamma Bomb type, which means nothing about the bomb will ever affect Kurth. It's a shame, because there's plenty of the bomb effects that would actually affect her, but the whole attack is negated, similar to doing a psychic attack or psychic tag attack on Magneto and Juggernaut. And that is one of the things that you can give Magneto for his power position. The Neuro Purge has no effect on him. And the Neuro Purge was used heavily to counter Heroic Age Iron Fist when he came out, who was basically heavily countering everything else. So a Magneto Iron Fist team would have been extremely tough to deal with. Red Hulk not only enjoys attrition-based teams and debuff teams, he's also very good with melee teams, as 2 out of his 4 abilities are melee-based, so he's a good candidate for Null's tag team, ISO. He's extremely strong, just suffers a slight weakness against Kurth. We could throw a little nod Loki's way, due to the fact that he deserves a bit of an honorable mention, as he's really good only with the Blue Deck ISO. The Blue Deck ISO enables him to run counter magic, and there is a lot of magic in the meta right now. We can also throw an honorable mention to Tactician Gamora. When Gamora first got her movie suit, Tactician Gamora was probably the absolute strongest for her, because of the fact that she could potentially get multiple turns off on blasters. However, none of her things were available for snappy service, so she was only but so strong. Magic Warding shut her down, but there were definitely pretty good amount of seasons there where she showed up with other Guardians of the Galaxies more often than not in the tactician form, because Quicksilver was still a force, so the Infiltrator form was quite risky. Would also like to throw some nods to Kraven and Lizard in the hopes that they show up in PvP, but they never really haven't. So there you go, guys. The top 5 are Iron Patriot, Tactician Pesty, Magneto, Rescue, and Red Hulk, with some honorable mentions dedicated over to Black Knight when he was bugged, Doom, Loki in a magic heavy meta, and Gamora. We might see Gamora come back because of the fact that Demoralizing Shout is subtle, and with it being a debuff, not only does it guarantee despair on people, you could actually tag the Pesty ISO to this. You could tag Ailing to this and put out despair and manipulate it all in one move. There is definitely not a reason why we can't see Gamora come back, especially even in her Infiltrator form with the Covert ISO. She'd have to deal with Cloak and Dagger, but then again, Cloak and Dagger scrapper bonuses just aren't really that strong. So, I mean, it's possible for Gamora to come back. It really is. And in all honesty, Tacticians is definitely one of the best classes to sit your heroes in for PvP bonuses, as Tacticians go right into health. They used to go health and stamina, but since the stamina nerf, they go right into health, and health is always one of the most intimidating factors in PvP, because it is the thing that you see when you first drop down. You don't know their attack and you don't know their defense until the match gets going. But when you're at 21k health and you see somebody drop in at 29, you know you're in for a ride. So there you go, guys. Let me know if you think I missed anybody. I know you're probably staring at Star-Lord over there, but yeah, not for the Tactician video. I think he's got other videos where he's going to be pretty strong, but not the Tactician one. So thanks, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and stay tuned to the channel for further classes. Peace out.